The date was 18th of June 2023. The clock ticked at 9 past 30 minutes under the clear sky at the coast of Canada, at a distance of 600 kilometers from the Newfound Islands in the Canadian coast. We were visualizing the sight of the Titan for the last time. What happened next, why it happened, and how it could have been avoided are the few questions worth a discussion. But before that, let us understand the difference between a submarine and a submersible. A submarine is a completely independent vessel that does not depend upon any other body for its maneuverability under the ocean and is a single completely independent vessel. On the other hand, a submersible depends upon something known as a mothership for its movement to be controlled from the surface of the water. In our case, this mothership was called the Polar Prince. At a length of 6.7 meters and a height of 2.5 meters, the Titan had four electric throttlers that were controlled by a game controller. Yup, you heard it right, a video game controller.
And it's all run with this game controller and these touch screens. So if you want to go forward, you press forward. If you want to go back, you go back, turn left, turn right, go down, go up. And it's Bluetooth, so I can hand it to anybody. And it's meant for a 16-year-old to throw it around.
This is Mr. Stockton Rush, the one among the five passengers in the submersible on that day, and also the CEO of OceanGate, and the one having the remote control of the submersible. Here, the use of a game controller is not that big of a surprise because multiple countries use the game controller since ages to control the telescopes of their submarines. Unlike in this case, the entire submersible was being controlled by the game controller. Was this one of the reasons for the unfaithful event of the Titan submersible? We shall discuss. The submersible had two titanium caps on both the ends and a viewport to see the marine world. The viewport that was fitted on the Titan was the largest viewport on any privately owned submersible. The Titan was a part of a fleet of submersibles from the company named OceanGate, which was started in 2008 by Mr. Stockton Rush, who was an aerospace engineer by profession. They had started the tours to Titanic only as early as in 2001, in light of the prediction issued by UNESCO that the entire shipwreck of the Titanic shall be completely eroded by the year 2050 due to the rusting and other oceanic decomposition activities. This is the official website of OceanGate, which is still functional and accessible, and I believe that they have planned to keep it accessible because here we can see that the upcoming expedition is to the Azores expedition that is due in next 3 days. That means the registration should be done in next 3 days. We can see the hoarding for the Titanic expedition as well. Under the expedition, apart from the Titanic expedition, we have the Azores, which is the upcoming one. Then we have the expeditions to Bahamas and the Bespoke. Under submersibles, if we click on their website, here we can see that we have the Titan submersible, which is actually no more as of now, which can dive up to 4,000 meters. That is the reason why they had selected this particular submersible for the Titanic mission. Apart from that, we have the Cyclops 1, which can dive up to 500 meters. So these are the two major submersibles that OceanGate currently owns, or rather we can say that the only submersible that OceanGate owns. It was finally the day. 600 kilometers of the coast of Newfound Islands, the final resting site of the shipwreck of the legendary RMS Titanic. It lies at a depth of 400 meters on the seabed. The pressure here is 6000 psi. It is like having a herd of elephants standing over you. On the following morning of 13th of June 2023, all five passengers were getting ready to witness the once-in-a-lifetime experience of deep diving to see the shipwreck of the legendary cruise liner, the RMS Titanic. Among the passengers was Mr. Stockton Rush himself, the CEO of OceanGate and the pilot of the submersible. He was an aerospace engineer by profession and was now at an age of 61. The second and the third passengers were Mr. Shehzada Daud at an age of 48, who was a Pakistani businessman, along with his son Suleiman Daud at the age of 19, who was not at all confident about the mission and just accompanied to make his father happy. The fourth passenger was Mr. Hamish Harding, who was an adventurer and a three times Guinness World Record holder for the South Pole expedition in 2016, the Challenger Deep, which is the deepest part of the world, in 2021. He was also a co-passenger for the Blue Origin NS-21 mission in 2022 alongside Jeff Bezos and was now at an age of 58. The fifth and the last passenger was Paul Henry, who had been to the Titanic 37 times as he was the director of the research documentary RMS Titanic and was now at an age of 58. Each of the five members had spent a whopping 2.5 crore Indian rupees for this once in a lifetime experience as a ticket fare in order to see the wreckage of the sunken cruise liner, the RMS Titanic. Exactly at 9 past 30 minutes local time, the crew on the Polar Prince shuts the lid of the Titan submersible by fastening 17 bolts into it from the outside. Yes, the bolts were fastened from the outside. That means there is absolutely no chance for any kind of an emergency exits from within the submersible, and the submersible can only be opened from the outside. This was one major flaw in the overall design of the submersible and was one major risk factor that the people sitting inside the submersible are completely helpless. Nevertheless, the mission was signaled to start. Inside the submersible, the five people did not have enough space, and at a time, only one could stretch their legs apart. The washroom was just a curtain. The five people started their descent to the depths of the ocean to the site of the wreckage of the RMS Titanic, which lies on the seabed at a depth of exactly 3,810 meters. The Titanic here lies broken into two pieces. The front part, that is the bow, is separated by the rear part, that is the stern, with a distance of 800 meters apart. The five men were supposed to reach their destination in 2 hours. On the way, it was supposed to send a text message to the mothership every 15 minutes as a point of contact between the two vessels. It was after 1 hour and 45 minutes into the dive, 11:15 a.m., the mothership received the last ever message from the Titan, and after that the connection was broken. But this was rather nothing new for the crew present on the mothership, that is the Polar Prince, because at such depths that of the Titan, the connection is expected to break. But something that was alarming this time was the failure of the EPIRB system at the exact very same moment when the connection was broken. An EPIRB system is basically an emergency position indicating radio beacon that helps as an effective point of contact for the lost vessels in the ocean. But the crew ignored it being a coincidence. Little did they knew about the disaster that has happened deep into the murky waters. The submersible was supposed to resurface at 4 past 30 minutes in the evening, but it did not show up. The crew again waited for 2 more hours and reported an emergency search operation to the US and the Canadian Coast Guards only at 7 past 10 minutes in the evening. This triggered an extensive manhunt mission over the ocean. The aim was to find the five men as soon as possible, since they had oxygen only for the next 4 days. The search area was close to 25,000 square kilometers over the ocean. But the experience for this was rather less, because the deepest underwater rescue mission ever to be conducted in this zone was just at a depth of 480 meters, nearly one tenth the depth that they were actually searching for as of now. And that too, this mission was carried out in 1973 as compared to now in 2023. Two American, two Canadian aircrafts were deployed along with three boats to surface the water and three ROVs, which are remotely operated inhuman vehicles that were supposed to search under the ocean. But all the efforts made were going in vain. The days were passing by, and the passengers had lesser and lesser amount of oxygen left. They could not help themselves from inside as the door was shut with the help of fastening of 17 bolts from the outside. It was finally on 22nd of June that one of the ROVs found the remains, that is the tail section of the submersible, broken and at a distance of 490 meters away from the bow of the Titanic. The outcome was clear. The five men had lost their lives in the unfaithful mission. In the upcoming days, three more pieces of debris were found lying close to the shipwreck of the Titanic. The Titan had met its fate, close to its destination. The reason for this accident was concluded to be a catastrophic impulsion. The hull structure, that is the outer structure of the submersible, was made out of carbon fiber, unlike other marine vessels that have their hull structure made out of steel. The carbon fiber structure was made as a revolution in the design of the marine field, but it failed terribly, claiming the lives of four passengers and one innovator as well. Mr. Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, added his name in the list of inventors who died because of their own inventions. The carbon fiber hull structure was not able to bear the pressure of water at such depths, and as a result, it imploded in itself, causing a catastrophic impulsion that takes less than zero point 0.1 second. That means the passengers inside the submersible did not even have the time to blink their eyes before they had all died in the impulsion. To put the words into perspective, this is how an impulsion looks like.